The Falcon and the Sparrow's Nest. The falcon soared high above the forest, the wind rushing through his wings as he surveyed the land below. His sharp eyes cut through the sky, seeking the smallest movement, the faintest sound. He was the ruler of the air, the fastest, the fiercest hunter. The forest below, with its twisting trees and rustling leaves, felt like nothing more than a vast sea of insignificance. And then, perched delicately on a small branch, he saw them. A pair of sparrows, busy fluttering about, weaving twigs and grass together into the tiniest, most fragile nests the falcon had ever seen. The falcon's eyes narrowed, a smirk playing on his beak. He had seen many nests in his time, but none so pathetic. The sparrows worked tirelessly, their little bodies darting from twig to twig, bringing bits of straw and moss to create their homes. But to the falcon, it was all laughable. How could something so fragile survive the mighty storms that roared through the forest, shaking the trees and bending the winds? "You think that little nest will protect you?" the falcon called out from his perch on the highest branch, his voice carrying through the air like a sharp blade. "It's barely more than a pile of sticks. The winds will tear it apart." The sparrows paused, looking up at the falcon. They were small, but their eyes held a quiet determination. One of them chirped softly, as if to say, "We will see." The falcon chuckled and took off, the air parting before him as he soared higher, leaving the sparrows behind. He felt the cool breeze beneath his wings, the sun warming his feathers. He was untouchable. Nothing could rival his strength. Days passed, and the forest seemed to buzz with life. The falcon continued to hunt, his speed unmatched, his wings cutting through the air like a blade. And yet, in the back of his mind, he couldn't help but think about the sparrows and their ridiculous little nest. Then, one evening, the weather began to change. Dark clouds gathered over the horizon, blotting out the sun. The wind picked up, howling through the trees, bending them with terrifying force. The falcon soared higher, riding the turbulent winds with ease. He watched as the sky darkened, the storm approaching like an unstoppable force of nature. And then he saw it, the sparrow's nest, swaying in the wind, barely clinging to its branch. The falcon smirked, knowing that it would be gone by morning. But as the storm unleashed its fury, something unexpected happened. The nest, small and fragile as it was, held firm. Through the howling winds, the heavy rain, and the flashes of lightning, the sparrow's nest remained intact. The falcon watched, stunned, as the tiny nest swayed but never broke, its sturdy foundation holding strong against the storm's wrath. The falcon circled lower, his sharp eyes narrowing as he focused on the little nest. He had underestimated it, just as he had underestimated the sparrows. He had mocked them for their weakness, for their delicate creations, but now he saw the truth. Strength wasn't always in size or speed. Sometimes, strength was in resilience, in the quiet determination to survive even when everything around you seemed impossible. As the storm raged on, the falcon perched on a nearby tree, watching the sparrows huddle close together inside their nest. He felt something stirring within him, a sense of respect, a flicker of understanding. In that moment, he realized that it wasn't the storm that defined strength, but the ability to endure it. The sparrows had built their home with care and purpose, and it had withstood the very force that the falcon had once thought would destroy it. The storm eventually passed, and the forest grew quiet again. The falcon, still perched on his branch, watched as the sparrows flew from their nest, their tiny wings carrying them into the clear sky. He no longer saw their nest as something weak and fragile. It was a testament to their resilience, their quiet strength. And for the first time, the falcon understood the true meaning of strength. So, the next time the falcon passed by the sparrows, he gave them a respectful nod. They didn't need to be the biggest, the fastest, or the fiercest to be strong. Sometimes, the most powerful force in nature was simply the will to endure. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share, and subscribe to help the channel grow.